What is up, guys? How's it going? How y'all doing? My name's Jackal. We're here for more Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Ooh, I just wasted a bomb. And we are here for more Bojack Horseman. Season 6, Episode 5 was this week's episode. And a pretty good episode at that. Do not like how few arrows I have here with this old lady. Especially when she's missing. Cannot have that. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well today. It's nice. It was my second video today. Saturday, so I got to record one video earlier. Woo! It was nice. I actually got to go live earlier. For the first time ever, like, officially. I mean, no one tuned in, but that doesn't really matter. I'm playing this live as it is. I'm just not actually, like, going live. Because for Bojack, I feel like the interest isn't there for, like, most people to be like, hey, let's go live and talk about this stupid show that nobody fucking watches. Show is criminally underappreciated. Do not see it getting the sort of love that it ought be getting. At this point, I'm honestly just looking for fucking arrows. Alright, just roast the fucking hags. And they're weak to it. Didn't kill him, though. But yeah, Season 5, Episode 6. One thing I have noticed about this season, and I've wanted to make mention of it for a few weeks now, and honestly, I just keep forgetting to. Alright, I'm going to leave him there as a sign that I still have to go up there. That'll be my little signal that I have not gone in that area yet. But there's been a tendency in this season that a lot of these episodes they've been able to focus on a lot of different characters more so than I feel like they really have before. And because it feels like the main cast is like kind of growing apart from each other, and it has this whole season. And I mean, I guess it's, you know, it's the end of the show, so that's not really surprising. But it is kind of bittersweet when I think about it, you know, like, yeah, Todd and Princess Carolyn are interacting, but more like right now because of like a roommate situation, you know, going on and shit. More so than anything else. Pop, 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 pop. Oh, you could have gone 3 for 3 on that. Jesus. Alright, we managed to run away. Alright, cool. It's a good thing I can run away even while confused. Alright. Redo. Fuck these guys up this time. Unfortunately, it doesn't solve my low arrow problem with Phoebe. But no, it's, you know, Todd and Princess Carolyn, that's all they're interacting. Diane's moved off to, you know, Chicago. Her and Peanut Butter are... Jesus. She shot me with arrows and now I'm blind. Holy fuck. That's gnarly. But, you know, since the two of them are separated, you know, Diane's moved off to another state. It just feels like, you know, it feels like the time is coming for the show and the characters. And what I like is they've still managed to maintain everybody's, like, character remaining strong within the story. Alright, I feel like the only ways that are blocked off are these staircases with these guys, so I guess we'll get it started. I better be recording. Yeah, I am. Good. I was about to be pissed. Trying to use some of her magic. Dick face. Bruh. Finally, Jesus Christ. Please, please, arrows. Please. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh, sweet Savior. Yeah, get her. But, you know, this episode was showcasing a lot of Bojack kind of getting on his steps to get out of rehab finally. And he becomes disillusioned with it part of the way through because, you know, part of the problem with at least some of the rehab shit that he's going through is that there seems to be like a level of insincerity from some of the people involved. And Bojack eventually catches on to it. And, you know, it sucks because his I don't know what it's called, but the guy who's like in charge of him for the shit that he's going through, for his rehab counselor or whatever, you know, what he's telling Bojack is true. Like, he does need to transfer out of there. He does need to get on his own. He does need to now try his hand out at being in the real world again. And obviously for Bojack, that's incredibly terrifying. I mean, look at all the bullshit he's getting himself into every time he does go, you know, doing anything out in the real fucking world. I mean, this episode was showcasing a lot of, you know, a lot of his past and a lot of things that he's now very much embarrassed about. You know, I mean, it clearly shows that Bojack's inattention is what got Sarah Lynn to try her very first drink, because while he was drinking behind the set of Horsing Around, he had left a bottle of alcohol and she had gotten a hold of it, and I think she had to go to the hospital. I think they said. Jesus Christ, fucking knock it off, god damn. I do not like how low I'm getting on shit. Light them up. Ooh, eyeball monsters. I forgot about these guys. The fat birds. The stony roost. I wonder if I forget if I leave here. I forgot if I leave here if the enemies respawn. Because obviously I want to go back to the village and heal my characters up. But I don't want to do so if that means I'm going to have to re-go through all these fucking assholes. Arrows had better be strong. Forgot about that shit. Alright, time to see what some of these items do, because I forget what some of the shit does. That fully restocks our fucking... Okay. That doesn't do shit for right now. No, god damn it. Paying no attention to what's going on. Alright. Well, at least I can stock up on my magic. Can we roast the crab, though? I could have sworn you'd be weak to that. But, you know, it was also highlighting the fact that, you know, along with all the other times Bojack has failed to do so, that, you know, even with the switching of the show from Herb to this Danny Bananas guy, you know, not only did Bojack really drop the ball with dealing with Herb, you know, very clearly in the changing of the guard, he wasn't really that helpful either. Especially when you have, you know, Sarah Lynn who's talking about, like, yeah, man, isn't this just fucking weird that, you know, he's just not around anymore? And Bojack's like, well, I think it's a good thing. And it just kind of puts everything in a really weird position where he is making Sarah Lynn kind of feel bad about everything. Just because she's just asking him questions about, like, yeah, well, just don't you think it's weird? Like, don't you think it feels weird? And very clearly it's because Bojack is fucking guilty and frustrated about his part in Herb getting let go. You know, he had an opportunity to stick up for Herb, and, you know, he was basically guilted because he's fucking naive and also a coward. He didn't do what he said he was going to do and stick by his buddy and, like, stick up for his friend in the business. He just let it kind of fall onto the wayside. Let Herb get fired. So because he's guilty about that, he starts lashing out at everybody else. Which, you know, that's always good. That's helpful. Everybody always likes when you do that. And also, I'm not going to lie, because since I watched the episodes over and over again, I remember a really weird... Fuck, get rid of him. Roast him. Turning motherfuckers to stone? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Don't want him. Fuck him. But, Jesus Christ, dude. Whore. Filthy filthy whore. What the fuck, bro? Ooh, I forgot to heal her. That's fucking bad. Real bad, actually. There we go. Ooh, boy. Why is the giant eye weak to fucking bombs of all things? Alright. But I remember Sarah Lynn, like, ages ago making a remark that when she had, like, tried some fur, she was like, oh, it's bear fur. What, my stepdad was a bear? And I don't know why, but that line always, it was just like, that's fucking okay, that's weird. Like, not on its own really super duper gross, but like, noticeable also. Like, that's a fucking weird ass statement to be making. Okay. Jesus Christ. Fuck. And then in this episode, she was in what led up to her trying the alcohol was her being in Bojack's dressing room. Okay, there's got to be a way around from the other side. Somehow. And she was like, something just about my stepdad's being weird. And I don't know why. I feel like there was something weird going on with the fucking stepdad. Like, it's nothing that they haven't said anything like about him necessarily, but it's just they keep making these really fucked up remarks about him, like, sporadically. I mean, maybe it's only those two, but it's just, those are really weird remarks, bro. I don't like that. Is there any way in, or do I just get in through? Alright, there's another set of stairs. Alright, see, this is taking me farther up. Before I do that, I'm going to go back the other ways. And I'm going to explore those. Because this is starting to feel like the way that I'm supposed to be going. Watch, this isn't, and I just end up fucking going the correct way after this. Whatever, though. There's plenty more bad guys to fight. But yeah, no, it's just a weird remark. It's just kind of out of place. Kind of uncomfortable. But, you know, you see a lot of Bojack's guilt when, you know, looking back at a lot of these events, you know, in his past. And then the bottle of vodka that he's been keeping. There was a moment, you know, granted, Bojack holding on to the alcohol got his recovering therapist, who's, you know, he's a recovering alcoholic himself, got him drunk because he misplaced it. You know, he threw it out the window and some cartoon shenaniganry finds its way back inside. But, you know, he ends up getting his therapist drunk on accident. And before that had happened, you know, Bojack had kind of caught on to the fact that he was kind of being duped into leaving. Not necessarily, I mean, his therapist isn't wrong, and Bojack, if he's been there 6 months, he needs to get ready to, like, move on with his life as far as like rehab goes. Just getting out, being out back into the world. You know, doing what you do again. You can't be fucking staying here forever. Nothing that the therapist that Bojack has said was untrue, but you could tell that there was a part of his voice, and obviously I'm very sure that this was an intentional, like, whoever directed the episode, it was a director's choice to make it this way. You can tell that there's like a level of insincerity to the dude's voice when he's like, but he's telling Bojack like, yeah, bro, you can do it out there. I know you can. And he's like, do you really think I can? You know, he's like, of course you can. You're special. I don't know how it's exactly worded, but like that's the main, point. Bojack's unsure, doesn't know if he can or will be able to do it. And the guy tells him, of course you can. You're my special little guy. More or less. And, alright. It was not a very useless place to go, or useful place to go, but you know what? That's why I'm glad I went now. This was exactly the purpose in going back here. Air this bitch out. But, God damn it. But when he's getting into an argument with this therapist after he finds out that he's kind of being... That insincerity comes from the fact that they're trying to get him out because there's like a... like pop star who's going to be taking up that room. And, Bojack immediately starts panicking when he finds that out, because then, he obviously thinks that everything that his therapist was telling him about him being ready for moving on in the big bad world again, that it was all a lie, because they were just trying to shoo him out back into the world, which they kind of were, but also nothing said was incorrect. Like, everything regarding Bojack and his fear of wanting to move back into the world, all of it was true. Oh, hey, wait. There's a treasure chest on. Ooh. I want it. I just wanted to click that over and over again for no reason. But when his therapist tells him, like, Bojack's like, don't you think I might just be the kind of person that just needs to stay here forever? And his therapist tells him, like, nah, bro, you're not that fucking special. And he leaves, and this is where I was saying that I was proud of Bojack. He had a moment where, because he had that bottle of vodka in his room the whole time, where he took a moment and he was like, oh yeah? You don't think I'm special enough to stay here? And you see him grab the alcohol bottle, and he goes to, like, drink it, to try and get drunk to prove that he should be there. And immediately, as his lips touch the vodka, he spits it out and is like, what the fuck am I doing? And then he throws it out the window, and then the cartoon shenaniganry brings it back into the building. And that's how the therapist gets drunk. But, the moments leading up to that were, Bojack having a moment where he could have slipped back into his old ways. And instead of slipping back, he instead decided to do something a little different, aka not fuck it up. Which was really good to see. It was really nice to see him. Yeah, it was a little scary with the past that we have with our boy. He doesn't have the best track record when it comes to shit like that. But, he did it. He fucking did it. Now, that almost, to me, not gonna lie, that almost guarantees me that at some point in the season he's gonna fuck up and relapse really hard again. Because the show has always ebbed and flowed with his, like, getting better and getting worse again. But that is, when it comes to his substance abuse, some of the best judgment we've seen from him ever. And I'm not gonna discount that. The Mans was doing good for himself when it came to that. I was proud of him. Now, of course, him throwing it out the window got his supervisor drunk and all that other shit, fun shit from there on out. But it was fine leading up to it. But with Bojack, you can see that it's a lot of just fear that holds him back from making that next big step, which is, obviously the next crucial step to your recovery, which is being back and present in the world. And, he has a point, and this is where it kind of adds, like, the impersonalness of life. Like, Bojack has a moment where he calls Todd for help. Because, he's trying to get out of rehab, and, he tells Todd, I don't think I can do this. And Todd's like, don't worry, buddy, I got you. Now, Todd's at a moment where, he's trying to, Todd's goofy, but he's at a point where he's, like, trying to babysit Princess Carolyn's kid, but also do quote-unquote Todd things. Now, he's not running a business anymore, but I think what I'm mainly picking up is that, like, Todd is in a place now where he's not outgrown Bojack, but I think as a friend, largely, honestly, I think Todd has moved on. Not to say that they might not still be homies, but they haven't been close in a while. Honestly, now that I think about it, I don't think they've been close, like really good friends, since the big fight they had in, what was that, like season 3? When Todd had yelled at him, like, I remember the iconic line of, like, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing shitty things and then apologizing as if it'll be all okay. Or some shit like that. But, like, I remember them having a big fight. And honestly, now that I think about it, I don't think they've been, like, close like that since then. So it's not necessarily that they're not, like, still, like, cool. But, it does kind of unfortunately add to Bojack's feelings of right now not having people take his needs seriously, because let's face it, with Todd, he's kind of worn out a lot of welcomes. He's done a lot of shit to fuck over Todd over the years. So, Todd sends him help. But he ends up sending Todd, like, one of his assistants. He doesn't come over to help him himself. And you could tell that really kind of fucks with Bojack a little bit. And that does suck, but, like, Todd was just the head, like, a pretty high up in, that what time is it clock company or whatever the fuck that stupid shit that he was the head of sales and marketing or whatever he was for it. Todd's been moving up, as Princess Carolyn put it, failing upwards for a while now. And, Todd's just kind of moved on. Like, he's trying to just do his own shit in life. And, I don't think he meant to send Bojack, like, just somebody to help him. Like, here you go. Here's an assistant. I'm not coming. For Todd, it's more like, oh, shit. Bojack needs help. Here, let me send someone. But unfortunately, like, that helps compound the way that he's feeling about not having the support network that he thinks he needs to get better. He thinks, Todd doesn't care like that. Fucking, he thinks his therapist is lying to him. Now, who knows? I could be reading way too far into this, and I could be totally wrong here. Anything secret? Secret, 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 secret. Or did you really just have this long ass hallway down here for no fucking reason? Mang. You suck, Mang. Alright, cool. Cool. So I was going the right way the first time, and it was a great idea to turn back. That's what I'm seeing here. That's what I'm seeing here. Roast these pigeons. Zoom. Ten more arrows. Good. I went from having like no arrows to having a correct amount of arrows. Alright, so was this the way that I was supposed to be going? No, it's not, but a way that I needed to go because someone needs to die. But, you know, it sucks because, you know, for Bojack, when it comes to his, like, personal life, you know, he's ostracized a lot of these people. I mean, the whole end of season 5... Oh, shit. All right, here's how I got there. All right. I thought I was going to come in from, like, the top and go down when I got back around. But, okay. That works. And yeah, you know, he's ostracized all... I mean, the season 5 was him basically cutting off all of his friends, alienating all of them, lashing out through his last, like, drug binge. And, you know, now he's... You know, his friends aren't as connected to him anymore. I mean, with the way the group seems to be going, I mean, it really seems like, you know, his group of friends, like, that shit's gone. You know, luckily, narratively, as far as the show goes, all of the characters individually can, like, carry their weight. You know, I think they could very well could have continued to do more seasons with these characters almost never interacting with each other than through plot-related reasons, but have, like, a compelling narrative for them going forwards. I think they could do that very easily. Because, I mean, that's almost like a small microcosm of what they're doing here. That is a whole lot of motherfuckers that are all gonna die. All of them gonna die. No. How did that happen? I did not hit down on that D-pad. Excuse me. And, you know, Diane, it really sucks because, you know, for her, it seems like her depression is getting the best of her, where, you know, she mentioned in the last episode that she wanted to start a book. And, you know, when her boyfriend asked her, like, hey, have you gotten started yet? And she's like, you know, doing the very common, I mean, it's almost a trope, but, like, it's the way that a lot of people who have a lot of depression issues are, where they may not vocalize it, but it is how it is. Where she's like, oh, yeah, you know, I was going to start today, but then I had to do the dishes, and by the time I'm done with that, you know, it'll be forever from now, so by that time, you know, it'll just be too late. I'll just start tomorrow. And, you know, he reminds her, like, you know, the hardest part of that shit is getting started. Always remember. And also, you know, I am a single father, so we do need money. So, you know, unfortunately, right now, I do not see that extra pressure on Diane going well at this moment. Fuck! Oh, never mind, not fuck. That was exactly what I wanted to do. Jesus Christ. I am not going to finish this level today. we are running pretty low on time. But that'll work. Then next week I'll have the end of this area and setting up for our next area afterwards. But, you know, it goes on to show, you know, when Diane, her boyfriend comes home later on, and she was like, oh, yeah, you know, you're right. I started working, and it's all good. And, you know, when you get a look at the... laptop that she's been writing on, it's just, I am terrible, written over and over again. And, like, bruh, that hurts a lot. Because that feels very familiar to me. Like, I never, like, necessarily wrote it that blatantly, but that's when things are compounding and pressures are starting to mount, like, I know that feeling. And that's rough to see, because, you know, Diane has been kind of the version of Bojack, you know, the stark cynicist that's, you know, trying to get her grasp on her own life, you know, where opposed to Bojack much earlier than he did. You know, he's trying to do this shit into, like, his, like, 60s at this point. It's got to be. You know, 50s, 60s, whatever. So, you know, I really want Diane to succeed. I really want her to make it. I want her to be happy with this guy. You know, they seem like a really good pairing up for one another. He seems to be a much more positive influence on her. Whereas, you know, Diane's obviously a walking giant ball of neg. Like, all the time, just negging out. What she needs to do is, like, I know she's, like, said she's been seeing a therapist, but I don't know if they've ever made mention of her ever, like getting on medical treatments for it, but I feel like she would do well to finally do that. Alright, well, that works. You can be strong to it, but if you die to it, I don't care one way or the other. Why are we missing so much, guys? What the fuck, boys? What the hell? Jesus. But yeah, they've never made mention of the fact that whether she's on medication or not. But she definitely needs to be. And not like in a, like, oh, you're crazy. So, like, legit, like, I want to see Diane healthy. And that's not going to lead to her health at all, is the direction she's going. And unfortunately, like, her boyfriend's right. Like, you know, when Guy reminded her, like, I am a divorced dad. Like, you know, kind of pointing out, like, we need money, motherfucker. Like, this is not... We do not have the luxury here of being able to not have money being pulled in. And, you know, he's right. If I were to be single looking for, like, a different full-time relationship than the one that I got, bro, you best believe those bitches are about to be fucking working. I'm not rich. I don't pull in that money to where I can afford to be with a woman who's not working. I got bills to pay. I got kids. Like, that's... So he's right. Like, he can't baby her to that extent to where, you know, she can afford to not work or afford to put off working because, like, oh, you know, my day's just kind of ruined. You know, that's honestly one of the reasons why I've been doing all of these games and doing all these series. Is one of the ways is to help cope with my depression. Because believe it or not, you know, now being in my 30s, and I'll say this to anybody who's facing the same sort of depression issues. One of the reasons why I do this isn't like, oh, this is escapism to escape from your life. Like, I have kids. There is no escaping from my life. My life is always around me, all the time. For me, what this really helps me with, honestly, is it always feels good every day if you're making some sort of improvement or moving forward with something, accomplishing something, staying on the grind. You know, I've seen a lot of videos where a person will be like, you know, I've had a really hard time doing this, that, or the other because, you know, my depression's been really bad lately. And though I do get it, one of the things that you don't want to ever happen is for your depression to get you like that. Even if you are in the, like, literally suicidal. Other than, of course, the medical help and the counseling and medication and anything that you may, support network. Aside from those things, on your personal, like, side, the things that you can handle is going about your day the way that you normally would. No matter how fucking hard it is. No matter how hard it is. Because you want to maintain a routine. You always still want to feel, even when you're at your worst, you still want to have something in your day that you did that was positive and moved you forward. Always. You never want to not have that feeling. Now, there's a lot of things that'll tell you, like, you know, that's one of the important things of making your bed in the morning, is that, you know, you start off your day by feeling like you're doing something nice, something that's like a small little W in your W column. I don't do that. I think that's a little excessive, but for people who are really in a rut, honestly, that's very good advice, and that's advice that people should take. Just because I think it's dumb, it's not dumb advice by any means. But even this for me is like, you know, this helps me dedicate, you know, 30, or today, you know, it's more like 45, 50 minutes of time a day where it's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because regardless of what I'm going to do, I'm going to make progress in what I'm doing. I should feel good about it afterwards. Now, not every game that I play do I end up making progress that day. Mega Man. But, you know, at the same time, if I was going to have a day where I was going to make zero progress anyway, I might as well have that zero progress be today and not tomorrow. Why put off that zero progress tomorrow and then make the actual progress be 2 days from now when I could just have my no progress today, get the real shit done tomorrow? You know, even when you look at it in hindsight like that, even when you don't make any accomplishments, like, you just always want to be feeling like you're doing something. And this, even just with my hobbies, just helps me feel like, you know, that's one other thing I got to accomplish, you know? You know, I handle all my work, I handle my dad business and all that shit. And then after that, it's like, okay, stick myself to my hobbies. I got my shows to watch, I got my games to play, boom. And I want to make sure I'm doing that every day because I want to make sure I'm, like, always keeping myself going. I don't want to, like, not have a hobby and then start, like, just being extra bored at home. You know, I don't need time being the way that I am and the things that I deal with. I don't need to have extra time to myself like that. No, the kids are in bed. You got time. Don't sit around and just, you know what? Nah. Turn on, talk about something. Interact, make a video that somebody might interact and leave you a comment later. Whatever it is, you always want to feel like you're doing it. And you always want to go about that day as you normally would. You're feeling depressed and you don't want to go into work, you fucking go into work. Just because you want to keep yourself constantly doing something. A busy mind is a more calm mind. The more you let your mind sit and ruminate and stew, nothing good is going to come of that. And that's what I see a lot with Diane. And I see a lot of that pressure mounting. And I have a feeling she's kind of like Bojack. I think he's going to relapse. After he came really close and rejecting it, now I'm almost certain he's going to again. He might have another moment where he's pushes the urge down, no, but I think he is going to do it at least one more time for the show. Diane, she's either going to have a breaking point or she's going to get help. Or she's going to get both. This feels like a little too less time to have all that happen. Next week is the halfway mark of the main part of the season. Because the way I was instructed to watch it, season 6 was to watch season 6 as its own season. Like the same as all the other seasons, 12 episodes. Watch it the same way you did all those. And then watch the last 4 episodes as their own, like, self-contained shit. That's, handle it like an anime, like a 4-episode OVA. Like, just an end, like, it's its own secluded ending. So, that's what we're going to do. So, for the main part of the season, next week is the halfway mark of the main part of the season. So, it feels like, I don't know if we're going to have enough time for her to have a real nasty breakdown and get help, but maybe we will. Maybe they'll handle it, like, if they do another, like, Diane-centric episode, then they would have time to do both of those things, for sure. But, Bojack now, after getting his counselor drunk, his counselor doesn't want him to leave, but I think Bojack having to, like, babysit his counselor, I don't know. I feel like this might help him get up and out of rehab, seeing his counselor like that. I don't know why, just like the way that his demeanor changed having to deal with it, especially because it was like his fault that it happened. I don't know. I'm really interested to see what happens. I haven't talked about Pickles and Peanut Mister's relationship because that's just goofy, because they're doing the whole, like, Pickles has to sleep with people to make up for, the sleeping around that that Mister did to her, and, like, that's just not a healthy way to go about anything, and that's not going to help anyone. But I really, at this point, I don't know if their relationship is going to end. These crazy motherfuckers might work it out, or they might not. Like, I hope Mr. Peanut Butter just lets her go. Just says, you know what, the wedding's off, but don't worry about it. Like, just, like, to not, like, let her go with, like, fuck you, leave. But I would like them, because Pickles is a pretty nice girl. She's not very bright. But I think it's more to stark contrast the fact that, after Diane, there was a lot of, like, her behaviors and, like, wanting to be, like, more reserved, more relaxed, that it seems like a lot of it rubbed off on her, on Mister. So it does seem like he had moments with Pickles where, when she was like, yay, I'm young, let's party, yay! Where he was just like, oh, fuck. Whereas a few seasons ago, that would have been all Mr. Peanut Butter would have been about. Even with him being, even in his younger days in the series, him still would have been her elder by like 20 years-ish. A few years ago, Mr. would have been all about that shit, but now he's not. So I do hope that he does let her go with, like, love. Just like, listen, it's not going to work for us. We're just too unalike. But, you know, you're a good girl and you'll be happy out there. But, you know, I don't know. I want that to happen, but I want it to happen nicely. I want Diane to get better, and I want her to start writing this book. I want her to get her depression handled. Bojack, I want him to be able to get out of whatever the fuck he's doing in rehab now that, you know, he's been dealing with it. We'll see. I'm excited for the next episode, as I always am. And I'm excited to beat this fucking place. So that is it for today, guys. Till next time.